Welcome back. Now, this past Wednesday, the Association of Mineworkers and Construction Union, AMCU, hosted their annual lecture commemorating the 9th anniversary of the Marikana Massacre. Dali Mpofu, the advocate we spoke to earlier, spoke in his capacity as a lawyer for some of the victims, saying that Marikana was about colonialism and apartheid and symbolized the battle between the haves and the have-nots. Other speakers were critical of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has said that one day he would go to Marikana and apologise, but he is yet to meet the affected families, reportedly. To discuss, we're now joined by AMCU President Joseph Mathunjwa. Mr. Mathunjwa, thank you. You and AMCU are determined to remember, and many South Africans would support you in that. At one stage, I was following whether workers were allowed to attend commemorations. There was, of course, this virtual lecture on Wednesday. What will happen tomorrow, and what is allowed to happen in terms of COVID-19 protocols?
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you again, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. Yes, indeed, we had a lecture which was on visuals, of which we followed the COVID protocol. As again, tomorrow we'll be doing the same. We'll be following the same COVID protocol. We'll have a visual, and then also with a limited number according to the prescribed number of people that's supposed to be attending physically.
Okay, so some people will be at the copy tomorrow?
Yes, there will be few members of AMCU at copy, of whom will be engaging with them through Zoom in terms of completing the fullness of the commemoration.
What is the mood this year? As we've been talking about, it's the same refrain every year about justice. There has been some compensation. The lawyer for the injured workers earlier saying not enough, and none of the injured have received anything. No apology from the states. Police officers have been charged, but nobody actually prosecuted. Where do you think we are in terms of trying to resolve what happened all those years ago?
I think for this matter or this massacre to reach the point of healing, those who are responsible are the ones that should usher the way forward, especially for justice for the arrested and the justice for those that have not been compensated, and for the widows. As you stated clearly, that there was a promise from the sitting state president that he will come and apologize, of which even today there is no indication that he will ever. We've written 2 letters to him, reminding him, requesting to speed up the process of the payment, but nothing has happened. So it is very difficult time because we don't get closure to this matter.
Yeah.
And it's not only workers, members of the families, but the nation at large, the country, the democracy that we say we have achieved is been dented in a very bad way.
Are you in touch with some of those widows? We were talking about some of the compensation figures earlier, and it's a little bit complicated. Can you just tell us some of the widows that you are in touch with? Are they destitute, or have they at least received some support along the way?
They do get some support, which is very limited from the organization AMCU. We're with them during the lecture in Johannesburg. But you could see life will never be the same for them, especially when this matter does not come to closure, it becoming a problem. And it also puzzles us, why is the state so reluctant to conclude the payment? Those injured like Makidiwane and those who were seriously injured, they haven't even paid even a single cent, even today. And then we as AMCU, we continue trying to complete those houses that we built for them, but because of the COVID, yes, it did delay to us. But again, the Marikana Massacre, which others they call it a tragedy, which I don't know where does that come from, because this massacre was planned, vans were ordered, ammunitions were ordered to kill the workers protesting for economic emancipation, we shouldn't just narrow it into apology. This is a big agenda of the economy of the country. These workers were killed for economic emancipation.
Yeah.
And to see that this agenda did never end at Marikana. In 2019, at Sibanye gold sector, we saw the same build-up by SABC with a toxic collusion with Neil Froneman, planning another massacre, of which we brought into the attention of the minister and also to the president to say there is another build-up. Why the state vehicles are being serviced by private sector while the workers are on strike? Why the Inyalas are at the premises of Neil Froneman's mine being serviced, preparing to break the AMCU strike? Why? So you could see that the agenda is not just about conditions of employment. The agenda is to maintain the status quo at all costs.
Yeah.
As you see even today.
Mr.
Yes.
Mathunjwa, we're running out of time. I just want to throw in one question, and I hear what you're saying, that issues are not only not resolved, but ongoing. It is well documented that you tried to get the miners at that time to disarm. You were trying to diffuse the situation, but others have been more critical, saying that the union rivalry between AMCU and NUM did play a part in what went on. Maybe the demands were inflated, the mood elevated because of that competition. Going back to what happened at Marikana, would you and AMCU do anything differently?
No. That is nonsense. That is hogwash. This is hogwash. Whoever is saying there was a union rivalry is talking hogwash. There was no union rivalry there. We were not even recognized as a bargaining union in that mine. Remember, we were called on the 10th by Mkwena to come and assist. So there was no demand that AMCU put on. We came there to assist the situation. So there was no union rivalry. That was a white monopoly capital colluding with the state to kill the workers that they wanted economic emancipation, to contain and to maintain the status quo, for black people to continue to be the slaves of the foreign direct investors in this country, the foreign investors to continue looting and raping the economy of this country without the people of this country benefiting from it. And Lon Min, tell me who is the manager who has faced any any justice, who was before the court? The CEO of Lon Min. No manager was accountable to this, even though they provided the fertile ground for the state to kill its own people who put them into power. So any person, all those political analysts that were vilifying AMCU, myself and the members and the workers who pass on fighting for what is due to them, where are they today? What is happening today? The very same few weeks ago, when we see this looting, 300 South African lives were lost. What inequality? The workers were fighting for inequality. They go underground 40 degrees Celsius and working tirelessly 12, 14 hours, earning 3,000, 4,000 rand, whereas these CEOs are looting hundreds of millions on bonuses. Then the workers must always just eat dust and eat all these diseases, that they are facing. So there is no such that there was a union, a rivalry in that space. Yes, they might have any, engagement of the National Union Mine Workers with SACP, with the ANC, because they are in an alliance. But as for us as AMCU, there is nothing that has implicated AMCU with or fighting against NUM towards what led to the massacre. The massacre was about the haves and the haves not.
Thank you, Mr. Mathunjwa, AMCU President Joseph Mathunjwa, and there was a lecture held last Wednesday. We will follow any commemorations that do take place tomorrow physically at Marikana.